One of my favorite TV shows of all times is Mad Men. But what was it about the charismatic Don Draper that took the world by storm, especially when he did his famous Kodak sales pitch? So in today's video, I want to teach you how you can nail your sales pitch like Don Draper today. For the best business and marketing advice, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to make sure you get notified when I post a new video every Thursday. If you don't know me, I am Jessie and I'm the founder of the brand Catalyst, which is a branding and marketing workshop where we help clients strategize better and produce content for them, and we also teach them how to be more professional in their approach to marketing. So if you watched Mad Men, you might recall that there's a very particular scene where Don Draper is walking in the room in front of a couple of men in suits, and he's to deliver the really famous sales pitch for Kodak Carousel, and it's quite exciting, and I think we can actually learn a lot from it. So let's watch the first bit together.
It's a wonderful facility, but they don't take vacations.
What do they show? Slides of them working?
So, have you figured out a way to work the wheel into it?
We know it's hard because wheels aren't really seen as exciting technology, even though they are the original.
Well, technology is a glittering lure, but there's the rare occasion when the public can be engaged on a level beyond flash if they have a sentimental bond with the product.
So I absolutely love this bit where the client is coming in and he's kind of saying that he's struggling to position the will into the context, and he's just giving a reason for why he's having some problems. And Don Draper quite quickly jumps on that, and the first thing he does really well is that he recognizes the client's problem. So he rearticulates back to the client that he understands it. But then he also says that technology can sometimes be a glittering lure, and he continues on to what he considers the most important part and what is the most important part in this case. So it's not focusing on the mechanics that are not really impressive actually. So he says something along the lines of, there's this rare occasion where the public engage beyond the flash, so the flash of the mechanics, because there is a sentimental bond with the product. So let's watch the next clip.
My first job, I was in-house at a fur company with this old pro copywriter, Greek, named Teddy. And Teddy told me the most important idea in advertising is new. It creates an itch. You simply put your product in there as a kind of calamine lotion. But he also talked about a deeper bond with the product. Nostalgia. It's delicate, but potent. Sweetheart.
So the second takeaway I want to highlight here is that he becomes very personal. He starts talking about that back in the days when he worked at his very first job, there was this old copywriter named Ted, and he taught him a thing or two about branding and marketing. So can you see what he's doing here? He's starting to bring things down to earth, and he's drawing upon his personal experience, and he's bringing that into play. And then he starts telling it in a narrative, in a storyline. And what the power is of that is that stories can help you bring things into a context. It makes it super relatable, so you can really break down barriers of the receiver if they have any, and it helps you as a communicator to really simplify your message and keep it really focused on what it is that you are trying to tell. So just before we move into the next clip from Mad Men, I wanted to ask you to comment below with your main takeaway and learning from the Mad Men series. What have you learned that you want to share with us? So clip number 3, let's just dive head in and see what he says.
Teddy told me that in Greek, nostalgia literally means the pain from an old wound. It's a twinge in your heart, far more powerful than memory alone. This device isn't a spaceship. It's a time machine. It goes backwards and forwards. It takes us to a place where we ache to go again.
I think there's some really great lessons that we can learn today from this particular clip. So the first thing I want you to look at is how he's using visual effects to emphasize his points and just lead the storyline. And then again he goes personal. He tells about Teddy, who told him that in Greek, nostalgia means the pain of a wound. And it just becomes really emotionally driven, and he starts drawing parallels in his story. But the next thing that I really want you to pay attention to in this is the sound effects. You have this like old click, right? And as he's talking about nostalgia, this is when this click comes in, and it really punches the weight of that particular word. So think about when you're creating a pitch, how you can use effects visually, but also via sound and smells and taste, and what can you do to really bring to life what it is that you're trying to convey. So that's the first thing. The other thing that I just want to make sure you're gathering, and I'm sure you are, is emotion. So it's such a powerful storyline, and you can feel it down in your gut, right? How it's sat there and you feel nostalgic, and it is pictures of his family he's bringing in, right? And you can see how this could be your friends and family and your story that are told. So the power of emotion is something I talk a lot about. And I want you to really be mindful of this, both when you're pitching, but also when you are creating creative content, hopefully on the back of your pitch work. So the last point from this clip that I wanted you to take away is details, details, details. Don Draper's really focused on the little things that makes the big difference. And there's a lesson to be learned about details in general, without overdoing it, of course. Details can really help you establish authority, because there's something about, if you have that amount of knowledge and you pay that much attention, that really means that you must be an expert in what it is that you are talking about. So never leave out details to rush through what you're doing. Make sure you step back and take your time and be that authority that can lean in and give away all these golden nuggets that I'm sure you're having. So let's dive into the last clip of today.
It's not called the wheel. It's called the carousel. It lets us travel the way a child travels. Round and around, and back home again. To a place where we know we are loved.
Good luck at your next meeting.
So it takes us to a place, and it is not called The Wheel. Can you see how he's slowly but steadily building up the narrative of his story, right? So it becomes more and more powerful, and he creates that excitement about being the person either on the other side of the screen where we will be watching Mad Men, or in front of him on the in the pitch meeting room, right? So there's a couple of things again to look at here. First off, the power of analogies. So we're no longer calling this for a wheel, it is a carousel, and it is the carousel of life, and he's just really bringing it to life with something again which is tangible but easy for you and I to understand. So he's actually removing the technology element, but we can see how this is spinning around in front of us, and it is having that excitement around it. So there's power in analogies if you're trying to convey a message that is a little bit complex and just need to lighten it up. And the second thing I wanted to mention is the way he's building up his narrative. It's really crucial that you're not mentioning the final outcome in the beginning of the story. So once the client walks in the door and expresses that, oh, we're struggling with this wheel, he could have gone, yeah, but we have the right solution for it. We're gonna call it a carousel, and it'll be really great because we will have all these emotional connectors and people really feel it in their stomach, right? And it's like he would have been sat there like, what are you talking about? Instead, he actually takes his time, he acknowledges the issue, as I said earlier, and then he starts building up the narrative. And I think a really easy way of thinking about this is, if you ever watch a good comedy gig, he'll never come in and give his punchline in the beginning. Why would you sit glued there to him for an hour if you already know how it's gonna end, right? So you will have to find a way of really keeping the audience engaged all the way through, and then in the end, that's really when you're gonna have your punchline and you're selling it in to the client. Right, so there's a lot to take in today's session, but I also feel like there's so many great learnings that you can now take and you just sprinkle it all over your next sales pitch and really go in and be punchy and win it. So if you want to take your brand and marketing strategy to the next level, make sure you follow the link in the description below, and it will take you to my free webinar on how to do a purpose-driven brand strategy and communication strategy. It's really great, and it's an hour of fully packed free value just for you. So make sure that you sign up for that one. And if you want to join a community for like-minded business people, make sure you add yourself to my Facebook group. It is a closed group, so you'll have to be granted access, but I'm sure you'll be fine. And and I'll give you all my tips and tricks and latest insights from the industry. And of course, again, if you like this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It's super important. It is what keeps me going. And make sure you check out these videos that are coming up here around me for some of my latest branding marketing videos. And I'm sure there'll be lots of cool insights that you can use in your business. I will see you there for sure.